Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video. And for this one we're back on the crap fucking arcade game conversions. So this is Street Fighter. For this one I'll be reviewing both versions because there was a European version and a US version. I don't know if it was arrogance or what, but certainly here in the UK, this particular version that I'm playing, instead of being referred to as the European version, was referred to as the UK version. Nevertheless, this was the one that we got in Europe. Now, I did not have this game back in the day for two reasons. Firstly, I absolutely detest the coin-op original. And secondly, I saw a screenshot of this. That was plenty for me to decide. There was no way I was going near this thing. So this is the really inspiring title page. No graphics of any kind, just your standard options. I don't know for sure, but I think if you turn multi-load off, it just means you play the same character over and over again. You don't progress to the next characters. Anyway, let's get a game underway and brace yourself for this. I mean, well, let's start with the obvious. It looks fucking horrible. Graphically it's a fucking travesty. I mean, I know the Commodore 64 was rather infamous for blocky graphics, but fuck me, did they have to be this fucking blocky? I mean, look at the fucking state of them. And because the skin tone of both characters on screen is this sort of like orange colour, you know, it looks like it's David Dickinson versus Donald Trump here. It means that when they're up against, you know, the background, you can hardly fucking see them. Now, because I didn't have the coin-op original, I don't know, you know, hardly any of the fucking moves, but I knew enough to be able to get past round one. But for some reason, once you get past round one, rounds 2 and 3 become a hell of a lot more fucking difficult. As you see there, he fucking beat the shit out of us. So yeah, I failed on round 1. I failed to beat the first person, so here we go again. It starts straight away because it gives you 3 credits. I wish there was an option to make it so that it only gave me 1 credit. Now on the plus side, well, the background scrolls, which it did in the coin-op original. So I mean, at least it's sort of got that. At least there is some sort of movement. But when the characters are moving around, I mean, it is literally just a bunch of very large pixels just seemingly moving around the screen, and it's hard to actually be able to figure out what the fuck is what. So, okay, so I've beaten him, which means the next 2 rounds are going to be really fucking difficult. So, well, let's get the review started anyway for the UK version. Fucking hell, he beat me already. I wasn't even looking at the the energy bars there, the health bars. So yeah, graphically this is one of the most horrendous eyesores I've ever seen on a Commodore 64. In terms of audio, the music is staggeringly lackluster, and that's the only thing you hear. There are no sound effects at all. And gameplay, well, the thing is, okay, I did play the coin-op original a couple of times. Fucking hell, I won. Does that mean I've now got to? It's now got to load in the next opponent. But anyway, yeah, gameplay-wise, I played the coin-op original, but I played that really shitty version because it was the only one that was available around the South End arcades, with the big buttons that supposedly the harder you punched them or the harder you pressed them, the harder you hit the opponents. Oh fucking yeah. So I mean, if you've ever tried to play that version, it is utterly fucking unplayable. It's absolute shit. The arcade original also features some of the worst speech I've ever heard in any game. Not just a coin-op game, any game, full stop. I know arcade coin-ops didn't have the greatest speech for a lot of time, especially around here, largely because, you know, all the arcade halls and that were so loud that it didn't really need to be very clear. Because you couldn't hear it very well at the best of times. But when you hear them, especially on MAME, you realise just how shit the speech was. But in this, it really was an absolute fucking shite. Alright, last credit. Oh, fucking hell. Looks like my regular moves are getting me fuck all nowhere here. But anyway, so yeah, my point is that it's hard to tell if this is a good conversion or not, because the only version of the coin-op I played was fucking unplayable anyway. It was absolute shite. Don't tell me this is, yeah, one of those where if I just keep doing the same move down, I don't know, through the fucking... And he's going to do it again. You know, what a cunt. So I think that is now finally game over. Well, there you go. So that's the European version of Street Fighter. Graphically, it's one of the most hideous games I've ever seen on the Commodore 64. In terms of audio, it's shit because, well, there's no sound effects and the music is utterly forgettable. And when it comes to gameplay, well, the gameplay's shit as well, but then again, the gameplay was shit in the original. I fucking hate Street Fighter. Always have, always will. I hate all the fucking 1,000,001 fucking variations of it. Couldn't be less interested in fucking Street Fighter if I tried. But when it comes to, you know, this UK Commodore 64 version, there is one reason as to why this really is a complete shitfest in every department. This was by tier text. So, you know, what more do I need to say about that? So anyway, that is the UK version. And now, it's time for the US version. So here we are with the US version of Street Fighter, which has this intro sequence. Well, I say sequence, it's just a couple of still images. So as you can see, the US one is by Pacific Dataworks International. What a poncy title they gave themselves. Pacific Dataworks International. You write games for the Commodore 64, mate. It's not like, you know, you're some majorly important fucking computer company of any description. Anyway, so well, first off, the music, it's every bit as shit as the music in the original, well, in the UK version, I should say. So anyway, we've also now got this demonstration mode here, which we'll get out of. but it gives you an idea of how it looks, if nothing else. So we'll keep the level of difficulty at novice. So let's just start the game, except I realise I've got to change joysticks for this one. Right, here we go. So here we are, and the first things first. Yes, graphically on the characters, it is several quintillion times better than the the European version. Unfortunately, the backgrounds don't scroll, and it also, yeah, it does seem to have this one move kills all sort of thing, the super move, which is this one, or at least it does to begin with. It doesn't stay this way. The timer is also nothing like as generous as in the UK version, or the European version I should say. There we go. And the other thing that certainly springs to mind is this just does not look like Street Fighter to me. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you know, why would you want, or why would I want a game to look like one that I can't fucking stand? Nevertheless, yeah, when you buy a game called Street Fighter, the least you would surely expect is for it to look like the game it's supposed to be, but no. So while it is graphically vastly superior to the European version, it just doesn't look like Street Fighter. They would have been better off releasing this under a different title. But we also are getting different backgrounds. As far as I'm aware, the European version, the background stays the same all the time. We also have different music. The UK version just plays the same piece of music all the way through. So, I'll tell you now also, this is only the second time I've ever played this US version. And here I am, I'm already on the third opponent, and I've beaten him once. So it is pretty fucking easy. Now, one of the most infamous things that I remember about Street Fighter when it came out was the Zap64 review. Surprise, surprise. They reviewed the US version. They reviewed this one we see here. Which, okay, is all well and good, but you couldn't get the US version anywhere in the UK. So why the fuck did they review a version that you couldn't get? They gave a mention to the UK version, and of course they just said, well, it looks like shit. I don't know if they actually mentioned how it played, but then, I mean, it plays every bit as shit as it looks. And there we go. So I've now beaten 4 opponents on my second ever go. I think this is where my, you know, my ever reliable move stops working. Or maybe not. But anyway, yeah, so the Zap64 review said it wasn't too bad. Well, yeah, maybe not, but, you know, could you at least review a version that people could buy in this country? Or this continent? Alright, so who we are against now? Eagle. No idea who the fuck he is. Looks like he's armed with weapons or so. Yeah, I've got fuck all chance here. Anyway, so we'll get the review underway. Graphically, yes, it's a lot better than the European version. We have the high-res overlays on the sprites, which really helps. But the sprites are too small, really. So it doesn't look or feel like you are actually playing Street Fighter. None of the moves, as far as I can tell, are recognisable as being moves from Street Fighter. The backgrounds don't scroll, so fucking hell. So in those regards, it doesn't really feel like you're playing Street Fighter, even though that is supposedly what it is. The sound effects, okay, you do get sound effects and music, which is pretty amazing, but they are both staggeringly sparse. I mean, the sound effects are the sort of thing I would expect to hear from a game in 1983. The music is not much better than that, actually. It really is the sort of music I would expect to hear in 83. Gameplay, as I've just demonstrated, is very simple. One move gets you right the way through to the fucking fifth opponent. Or no, it was more than that, wasn't it? Seventh opponent. So the game is really easy. It just does not feel like you are playing Street Fighter. Which, you know, okay, for me, that's not a bad thing, but nevertheless, if you're loading up a game called Street Fighter, the very least you could ask is that it looks like the game you supposedly bought. But then neither of them do. I mean, the UK version just looks like someone vomited a load of pixels on the screen. So how do I rate it? The UK version I rate 0, because, I mean, graphically, audibly, gameplay, it has absolutely fuck all in any of those departments. It's utter shit. The US version, graphically, it's not bad at all, actually. The the high-res overlays on the sprites really does give them decent definition, but they're too small and the backgrounds don't scroll, so yeah, it's hard to believe that the US version actually lacks something that is in the European version, but there you are. In terms of audio, it's utter crap. This is a game that came out in '88, and yet in terms of audio, sound effects and music, it sounds more like a game you would have expected to have bought 5 years previously. So yeah, audio wise, it's absolute fucking bollocks. Gameplay wise, well, it's too fucking easy. You can get... I am by no means a great games player, and here I am, I got to the 7th opponent on only my 2nd ever go. So the gameplay's too easy, but it is better than the European version by a substantial margin, so I score this 1 out of 10. So there we are. Street Fighter for the Commodore 64. The European version is a fucking stinking heap of shit and gets 0. The US version is not quite as big a heap of shit, but nevertheless it is still fucking not worth even looking at, and that gets 1 out of 10. So there we go. That brings this review mercifully to an end, and we'll see you at the next one.